Hey, yo, what's up? This is yo boy, Asiago. Again, here we go on 3 a.m. Thoughts. Recording a bit later, as usual. It's actually 4 a.m., but whatever. Shoot, I ain't renaming the channel 4 a.m. Thoughts and nothing. Shoot, so, alright, here we go. So I usually like to do something while I, record these podcasts. Today I'm going to be playing some Game Boy Donkey Kong. You may or may not hear in the background. Let's see. I'll go ahead and let the intro play out here. Ooh. Yeah, so I don't know how well or how much the microphone picked up there, but shoot. So I am playing Game Boy Donkey Kong on my TV via the Super Game Boy. Now, definitely, this is my favorite version of Donkey Kong, because not only does it have all 4 original arcade levels, but as well it's got the entire Game Boy gameplay. It's the very first Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. You gotta get this entire level. You gotta maneuver through. You gotta get the key and you gotta bring it to the door. And it's a very simple concept, but sometimes the actual action itself is not that simple. So that's what makes the game fun. There's an element of challenge in there, and the challenge makes it fun. It's one of those games. And I just love how much this Game Boy version here, how much it actually just expands upon the arcade version. Because I really do. I really do appreciate it a lot. And being able to play this on my TV now, because I got the Super Game Boy from my Super Nintendo. Shoot, and on top of that, freaking my Super Nintendo is a modern one. Souped up with the capability to play in HD. So I'm playing one of my favorite Game Boy games in HD. But the only problem is that the copy of Donkey Kong that I got, the battery is dead. So that means until I can get the battery replaced, it's impossible for me to save in this game, which sucks. Although I do have this game on my downloaded onto my 3DS. That's all good. I got pretty far. Actually, I think I beat it a couple times. But the thing is, though, is that I can't play anything on my 3DS, on my TV. Oh damn! I died on the first level. Rookie move there. Although I'm not a rookie. Anyways. Yeah, so that's the whole point of why I got the cartridge version of the game, because for my Super Game Boy, so I can play it on the TV as I'm doing it right now, and it's fun as hell, man. I love it, I really do. Shoot, and I love how much love they put into this version of the game, specifically for the Super Game Boy, because it has this cool frame around it, which makes it look like you're playing off the actual arcade machine and all. It's real neat, and it adds some colors to the game. Shoot, I freaking love this, and I really love playing this on the Super Game Boy on my HD Super Nintendo. All right, so let's get on to the topic. So I remember last episode. Let's see. I mentioned that there was a certain topic I wanted to talk about, and that topic would be the whole me figuring out what I believed in, what I didn't believe in. So just in case if you didn't listen to that podcast, I'm gonna go ahead and damn, I just died again. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of give you guys a little bit of a review. So what went on was, so me and my uncle Carlos, we went to this filmmaking gig. We were up to we were gonna be over here, recording a wedding, and this wedding took place in your very traditional not chapel, cathedral. And so, we were looking up at the stained glass windows, depicting all the saints and stuff. And he asked me, he popped the question, do I believe in God? And I said, well, yes, I do. And then he asks, why do you believe? Is it because someone told you to believe? Like, at the time I just couldn't answer because, like, because up to that point, no one has ever asked me that kind of question. Shoot, not even the first atheist that that I've encountered didn't answer that question. And that's the thing, like, I mean, and this goes for anybody of any, like, kind of faith. Or even it doesn't even have to be freaking religious. It can be political, or it can be or you just believe in a concept, believe in a scientific concept, whatever it is. Why do you choose to subscribe to something? Why? I mean, it's a very simple question, but for a lot of people, especially concerning their religious beliefs, and especially like me at that time, it was a hard question to answer because, again, I didn't have an answer in mind. I just kind of did my thing because I just believed, because I mean that's I mean, as much as I would hate to say it, it's kind of like I was kind of told to believe, because I mean, I was never actually given a choice whether to believe in something or not. But then again, like, I wasn't really, I mean, as a kid, I wasn't really too aware of different faiths and religions and stuff. I mean, I always grew up around people's I grew up in a pretty secular household as a kid, but I mean, the whole, like, idea of church, my grandma talking about like my great grandma talking about God all the time. I mean, there are those things, but I kind of always thought God as like an afterthought at that time. So I never really gave it too much thought. Especially when I remember my parents, they went through this little this little phase where we went to church, and as a kid, especially with a kid with ADHD, I never really understood the whole point of church. I mean I went to the whole kids church, and I thought like we were going to like some kids event, because there was the singing, there would be this lady jibber jabbering about something. I mean, obviously for the being a church, she was talking about God, but I mean, again, with me being this ADHD kid who didn't really care about what was going on, I had no idea. I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to what the hell she was saying. Let's see. For all I knew, she could have been talking about I don't know, whoopee cushions or something like that. I wouldn't know it because I didn't care. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to be there. Even though, like, literally in kids' church, all we do is we take the little communion, the little grape juice, and the crackers. I remember when we did the communion. I was so, like, confused. Why do we have this tiny cup of grape juice, and why do we only get one piece of cracker? I'm hungry. I want some more juice. I want some more crackers. And give me some more. And I remember going, like, I would keep on going to the communion table, and I would keep I would go for like seconds, thirds, fourths, and fifths, because I'm like, I want more, and I'm hungry. I mean, why are we so limited? God. And in kids' church, I remember, like, really the only thing I would actually be doing would be, like, making, I don't know, like, noodles on a macaroni or something like that, or something stupid, some, like, very insignificant, nothing that I actually cared about, or really, or nothing that really taught me or anything, whatever. Sorry if my speech is kind of slurred, or if I'm not making any sense. It's because, well, my focus is also kind of split between this game here, but as well as I'm also kind of tired, despite the fact that it's 4 a.m. and I woke up at like freaking 6 today. The reason why I woke up at 6 p.m. was because of the fact that I had errands to do in this morning, and I didn't feel like freaking waking up early, so I decided, I'm just gonna stay up till that time, and then I'll go to bed afterwards. It worked out, but at what cost? Anyways, back to the topic. So kids' church, nothing significant ever happened. I didn't learn anything, and again, even if I could have learned something, very simple, straight to the point. Again, I didn't care at the time, and I wasn't really all that interested in what was going on. All I knew was, I'm here, I come here every Sunday, I don't want to be here. I want to be asleep, or I want to be freaking home, you know, playing my PS2 or doing something. And shoot, you know, I was just very confused at the time. I mean, nobody told me why we were going to church. Nobody told me, you know, why we had to go to church. Nobody ever told me, you know, like, you know, who is this God fellow? Like, why do we believe in him? I just kind of went with the flow because again, you know, as a little kid, you know, my parents, you know, let's see, again, we you know, I grew up in a very secular environment. So again, like, God never really played a role in anything that we did. Not even in the simple prayer like before bed or whatever. So when all of a sudden, you know, we started going to church out of nowhere, yeah, you know, I was just very confused. Like, I didn't know why we're going to church. Actually, it's like for years I had no idea that freaking church and God were like connected until freaking like Easter or something like that. When they were saying, well, Easter is about the death of Christ, and then they told me, you know, Christ is Jesus, you know, and when I heard the word Jesus, I'm like, oh, okay, this is a God thing. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why they never talk about Buzz Lightyear or a freaking Spider-Man in church. Oh, okay, it's a God thing. Man, like, shoot. And I remember too, freaking like, like when I was 8 years old or something like that, the same time they told me that the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and all that weren't real, they started making me go to the adults church. And again, I'm 8 years old, like I'm in the second grade. I and they said, you know what, you're too old for kids church, you know, you need to come with us to the adult church. And you can imagine that I was already confused, and I was already dazed and confused in the kids' church, and they were talking about, you know, they were talking about God and stuff in the most simplest way possible because we're kids, and so you can imagine my confusion whenever they took me to the, you know, to the grown-ups church, and then I'm over here like, huh? What is this? What is this guy here on the stage? You know, what is he jabbering on about? Why is he yelling a lot? I don't get what's going on here. And by the way, it wasn't like a Baptist church or whatever. Like the pastor would just like, I don't know. He just loved to yell. I do remember one time, like the pastor of this one church, he was like, "All right, people, you need to open up your damn eyes. Because the light of Christ is here." And okay, well, it might have been a Baptist church. I'm not sure, but I remember him saying something like that. Shoot, but that was a long time ago. So, anyways. So growing up, you know, you know, it was a very like secular world for me. I had no concept of, you know, what God was, who God was, why we believed, and why people even subscribed to this idea. And so, again, I just kind of went with the flow because that's what, you know, that's what everybody was doing. That's what I was just taught to do. So in a way, yeah. I mean, I at the time I believed in God because I was told to believe in God. I didn't like. I mean, it's not like I didn't have a choice, but at the same time, it's not like the way they presented things to me, it's not like I did have a choice. So for the longest while, I just went with it. I was like, okay, God exists. Okay, you know, you believe in God, you go to heaven. Okay. I'm gonna play my PS2 now. So you know, and that's how life was for me. And then middle school. You know, like definitely. I mean, if there was like a super secular part of my life, it was definitely freaking you know, my first 2 years in middle school, and like so. Yeah, so I'm over here, you know, doing my thing, and I used to be, not used to be. Well, I mean, it's not like we stopped being friends off bad terms or anything. We just kind of stopped talking to each other after getting out of middle school. But anyways, I used to have this friend back in middle school. His name was Zev Wells. Didn't start off that way because being the annoying kid I was, you know, he was one of the guys that would always call me out on how annoying I was. And then, you know, again, me being annoying back in middle school, he was also one of the many people that didn't like me. Makes sense. I mean, shoot. Looking back now, I wouldn't even like me. But anyways, so you know, I was friends with this Zev dude. we had a couple of classes together. We would talk about things. We worked on projects together, and I forgot how this came up in conversation, but I remember I remember when he told me that he was an atheist, and that completely blew my mind because again, at this time, I like the way people presented this whole God idea to me. I didn't think that there were any alternatives to to believe in God. I thought, well, let's see. I remember thinking, or actually that same day, right before he told me that, I remember thinking, man, like, because I started becoming a little more aware about the situation, and I was like, man, what if people believed in other things out there? Like, nah, that can't be it. Because I never heard of any other belief other than Jesus Christ. So there is nothing out there. So everybody believes in Jesus because that's the only thing that's out there. Oh, my poor mind. Like, God. And even growing up, I didn't like. They were like, I wasn't exactly like. Yeah, again, I wasn't exactly sheltered or anything like that. But I don't remember watching movies like Hercules or anything like that actually did show like different beliefs and stuff. I remember watching Pocahontas as a kid, but like again, that never really occurred to me that those are different beliefs, or I don't know, whatever. Like, again, I wasn't really exposed to the idea that there are other beliefs out there, that there are people that believed in things other than God, or I had no idea that there are people out there that didn't believe in God. So again, at that moment, my mind was freaking blown because I was like, what? You're serious? Wow. Like, there are people out there that don't believe in God. There are people that believe something other than God. Nani? I wasn't a weeb back then, but still, freaking nani? God. Like, so that really did. Oh, like his little like, phrase there. It really like opened up the entire world for me, or at least that much more. Because then I really started paying attention to more things, and I'm like, okay, so the Native Americans, the Chinese, the Sand people in the Middle East, all these different people, they all believe in different things. So I'm like, damn, like, I wasn't prepared for this. Oh shoot. So again, that didn't really prompt me to really like think about why I believed or anything like that, but it expanded the world for me, because I was like, oh, okay, like, all right, so I still don't know why I believe in God or anything, but wow, it's good to kind of see that this world is very diverse in many other ways. So when did I exactly, actually approach myself for that question, why do I believe in stuff? It definitely wasn't at the time I got saved. It wasn't during the time when we started going to church again, but this time, with real sincerity. And it wasn't during the whole high points of my youth group days. As a matter of fact, it was actually this time I was actually going through this little depression back 2 years ago, 2018. So we were in the middle of a move, and I was just, let's see, like, mentally, I just wasn't like, I wasn't at my best, like I was just really sad, I was just I was just kind of like down on a whole bunch of stuff, because it all started. I was kind of rooted in senior year, my senior year in high school. So I'm over here, because growing up as a born again Christian in high school. Let's see. So I got saved when I was 16, and and I was just on this high for God. You know, my heart was just on fire for Him, like so much so to the point to where, you know, I almost instantaneously I became like a diehard Christian, and it was super great because, like, you know, again, it opened up an entire new world for me because I was like, you know, I started seeing things in different ways. You know, I started listening to different music. You know, I started having different views on things. So it was a very it was a very bizarre time in my life. And it was good. And it showed, so like but by senior year though, things started to like slowly change. I mean, not that I kind of lost faith or anything, but also I saw myself being more like complacent with things. Let's see, I wasn't as like I wasn't like, for lack of better terms, as radical as I used to be, but what I ended up being was again, just more complacent, like more like just familiar with stuff, you know, because for the first like couple of years of me actually like you know, being saved and having this newfound belief, and I was so used to seeing like all this new stuff all the time, and it was I mean, by new stuff I mean like, wow, like shoot, like I mean I mean, where do I begin? Freaking all this new music, because I started listening to Christian music, and even stuff from like 2009 or even further back. I'm like, wow, you know, I never heard this stuff before, so all this is new to me. And I was like, wow, you know, I'm learning all these brand new things about God. You know, this, you know, I mean, this really, you know, it really motivates me and stuff like that. You know, like there was so much new stuff to me because of the fact that I hadn't embraced this kind of lifestyle before. So of course everything would be new to me, and there was just so many things new to me, like enough to really like, you know, keep me excited for like a good 2.5 years. But then like I kind of got to the point to where, you know, okay, so I have this better idea of how everything goes. You know, because I pretty much seen everything that, you know, that a beginner, like a beginner in the faith does. You know, I started becoming more complacent with everything because, you know, I wasn't seeing as much new stuff as I did before, and at that time, you know, I was like, okay, you know, so I know all this stuff now, you know, so where does the new stuff come in? I mean, I started actually reading my Bible and taking notes around that time, but again, like it just wasn't, it wasn't as much compared to how much I was learning again as a newbie to all this stuff in years prior. So I started kind of getting depressed because I was thinking to myself, you know, I'm not a real Christian because, you know, I'm not learning all this stuff, or I'm not like you know, I'm not everything's not exciting no more, you know, and I was just kind of getting down, you know, at that point. And then, you know, when I started working. And then I started working, you know, with the backroom boys. Like, I mean, definitely nothing wrong with them. I freaking love the guys over there in my workplace. I mean, they're pretty cool, they're pretty tight. But the thing is, though, is that, like, you know, coming in, you know, you know, coming in, I had this mentality saying that, you know what, you know, I gotta guard my heart. You know, don't let the things of this world change me. If anything, you know, I gotta let my faith in God help me to stand out and change, you know, the guys around me. But seeing how, like, logically without you know, getting into trouble or getting into trouble with people or whatever, you know, I wasn't gonna be, I couldn't be like the preacher of the back room or anything like that. And so like damn, like, so I couldn't be the radical Christian that I was back in high school in the workplace for many reasons. And, you know, that kind of just brought me down because definitely, like, you know, from the music, from the work culture and all, I was just getting like influenced in more negative ways than one. Like, and I started letting my guard down and everything, you know, when it came to my heart, when it came to my mind, and when it came to my soul. I just started letting my guard down, and, you know, it didn't feel very good. You know, I was just letting everything get to me, and it came to a point to where I just stopped caring. And at that point, you know, we were going through this big move. In this big move, you know, my parents, you know, they moved everything out of the house, and they made me, my sister, and my grandma, you know, we moved in to this temporary house, which was was actually my aunt's home. You know, we moved there. You know, we were just by ourselves and stuff. But around that time, you know, I was already kind of depressed, you know, upon that, because I felt like I was losing touch, you know, with God and my whole faith and stuff. And on top of that, shoot, like again, like so many failed attempts at romance, because like aside from the whole you know, religious side of things, you know, I mean, like every other human out there on the planet, or at least most of the humans out there, you know, I seek, you know, I seek relationships, you know, and not just, you know, the kind of relationships with, you know, with friends and family, but, you know, I wanted to meet a girl. I've always wanted to meet a girl, you know, and just start something with her, you know, start something beautiful, you know, just have that kind of connection. You know, it doesn't even have to be sexual. Like, I just want to be able to get, you know, to get close with a girl. And throughout high school, or throughout grade school period, that's always like failed for me. And then you know, after post graduation, you know, with every attempt, you know, or actually, well, I mean, there wasn't as many attempts because I didn't see many girls out there. Because again, I didn't go to college. I didn't go to college yet. There weren't many girls at the workplace that I could, you know, go out with. And you know, it's just like, you know, I'll be looking on Facebook and I'm like, man, you know, God, you already have all these, you know, all these kids from school getting, you know, they're getting engaged, you know, they're getting married, you know, they got all this stuff going on for them, and I'm like, you know, I want that too, but no, I just had really bad luck here. And then also too, like all the girls that I had a crush on back, or most of the girls that I had a crush on back in church, you know, like a lot of them were moving away for college, or a lot of them, you know, have already got boyfriends and stuff. So any chance that I had with any of them, you know, kind of really did slip. So, you know, I was just depressed on that too, because shoot, like I just really wanted to be with a girl, but I mean, well, whatever. And I just started getting depressed on that too, because I'm like, damn, man, like, am I ever gonna find anybody? Am I ever gonna, like, you know, find someone to hold, find someone, you know, just to let my heart out onto? And again, I mean, there's friends and family that I can let my heart out onto, but it's different, you know. When you're doing that, but with a girl though, like, you know, I don't know. There's something different. You know, I mean, there's a bit of a romantic element thrown in there. Shoot, I mean, even to this day, like, you know, even to this day, you know, I still hadn't had a girlfriend, but you know, I am working on that, and you know, things may or may not turn up soon. You know, you really don't know. Like, I'm not. Let's see, but I definitely learned, you know, how to control that better, or not control. How to, like, manage that better. You know, so I'm not over here like putting all my freaking hopes and dreams into it. I've kind of gone to a point to where, you know, if it happens, it happens, you know, and that's all fine and dandy. But you know what, though, I'm gonna focus on other things, other than that. You know, and put things as you know, a higher priority. I mean, shoot. As much as I would love a relationship right now, you know, I'm not gonna keep it as high priority, because you know what, you know, there's you know, there's more serious stuff in the world, and that's another thing too. Like, cause I started getting down on all these things, you know, around this time, 2018. But the thing was that, like, I wanted to feel so sad, but you know, but then, you know, I started thinking to myself, you know, why am I being sad over this pitiful stuff for? I mean, there are people with much more like harsh problems out there. It's people with real problems, and I'm over here freaking crying about this, and ironically, and that should have made me, like, you know, less sad about my situation, because I mean, it wasn't really important. It just kind of made me more sad, because, like, I'm over here like thinking that, you know, my feelings didn't really matter, because I wasn't going through anything like real or anything like that. So let's see. I don't know. I just really started feeling sad at that moment, and shoot, like, Even in the workplace. And I'm not just talking about, with the whole like negative influence I was getting, or that my Christian faith was getting from hanging around these guys, but it was also from it was also from the fact that I got a harsh reality check. Like I started realizing how much how crap we get treated by the managers and stuff. Almost to the point to where, hey, I thought these guys were supposed to care. I thought like if we had any problems, we can come to them for help, and and not only can we get help from them, but they would be there for us and stuff. But I mean, again, this is business, not family or anything like that. So where did I get that idea from? So that little harsh reality check, yeah, it didn't do me any freaking favors. So let's see what else happened. Oh yeah. Okay. I as soon as I got it, I lost it. Okay, so here we go. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Oh yeah, so I started feeling that my opinions didn't matter. That that what I had to say didn't matter because nobody wanted to listen to me. Nobody wanted to give a damn. And then too, during this whole move, okay, so it was very obvious why if I came to my parents for anything, they wouldn't necessarily be able to help because again, they had this big move on their on their minds. They had to get all this done, and I wanted to talk to them, but like a lot of the times, they didn't really have time, to discuss anything, and. Shoot, and it just seemed like, and even to this day, they kind of just, they would rather, support my sister on stuff. They would rather put my sister before me, and I get it. She's the little girl. I get why they would put more focus and attention on her. But I kind of felt left out. But then again, as a man, I gotta realize that I gotta stick up for myself and stuff. So and there's another thing. I just kind of felt like that I wasn't really as valued as as I thought it would, and I just felt like I was just alone. And like literally, I just felt so alone, so down, to the point to where like I felt like the only person that I had in this world was just God. And again, I have my friends and family in which I love dearly, but I mean mentally though, and in my heart, I just felt like I was just alone, like so alone, like only the presence of God was the only thing I had in this world, and it really freaking sucked. I remember crying myself to sleep like every freaking night, and it was just a bad freaking time of my life. But because of this bad time, this situation reminds me of this meme that I saw. So freaking rough. Let's see. Rough times create real people. Real people create good times. Good times create weak people. Weak people create rough times. And so this was a rough time. So it was bringing more of the real out of me. It really because around this time, I mean, sure, I was sad, but I was thinking more too. I really started thinking. I was thinking more about myself around this time because, like, for the longest time, especially whenever I became born again, I always thought of how others thought of me. Because I always thought I had to meet all these standards for other people, and if I didn't meet those standards, then bad things would happen to me. Like I would lose the respect of others, or I would just lose or I would lose favor from people. Sometimes I even thought I would lose favor from God if I didn't meet certain requirements, but that's just not the case. So I really started thinking about that. The situation may be bad, but I shouldn't have to look into trying to meet other people's expectations of how I should be. I mean, sure, life ain't going the way that I thought it would, but you know what though, that that's life. I mean, God said himself, it ain't gonna go the way you think. He's got different plans, and you know what, so be it. And because I thought, again, I was just gonna be this normie kid that freaking goes to college for 4 years and then goes out there with a career and stuff like that. But you know what? This is real life and things don't exactly work out that way. And there's a lot of complications. There's a lot of things going on. So I thought, hey, you know what? First of all, I'm letting God, take the wheel on things. But you know what though? I'm gonna work on myself more. And as much as I also love to think about others, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just stop. I'm gonna disregard what they think of me. If I need to do something, I'm gonna do it, regardless of whether they like me or not. And so and even to this day, so I'm over here, working on myself, making myself, my own person, making myself to where not only who God wants me to be, but who also I want to be, and that's the thing, sometimes, people ain't gonna like you, people are not gonna understand you, but you know what? Screw that. You gotta be the only person whose opinion, the only person, the only person you should be even giving a damn about in terms of, how they look at you is God Almighty himself. And I said, you know what? God loves me for, just the way I am. But you know what? I'm gonna make sure. But let's see. But personally, though, because I want to, improve myself by my own will, I'm gonna do it. And not only do I want to, improve upon myself, I want to start, being more how I want to be. And so so I really started accepting the fact that I didn't want to be a father, or that that I'm not gonna be that picture perfect kid that school and church has always taught me to be. I'm not gonna be that way. I'm not gonna be picture perfect, but you know what? I'm gonna get to where I'm gonna go, where I need to go, just in a different way, and the only ways I can, or any different ways that I can get there. And I also started thinking, why do I do the things I do? Why do I believe in the things I believe in? And around this time when I started thinking more, interdimensionally, I became more able to really think and critique, and really answer these questions. And so I figured, why don't I want to be a father? Well, blunt truth, from my experience, don't like kids. I don't want kids. I don't want to deal with them. I mean, hell, and I'm not scared of the responsibility either. I mean, shoot, I know if I had a kid, I would, knowing my work ethic and all that kind of stuff, I know I'd strive to be the best freaking father in this damn state and the whole world. I knew I could do it too, but you know what? That's why I don't want it. That's just not something I don't want to do. And let's see, and then I asked myself other questions too. Why? Why am I over here trying to be this picture perfect kid? I mean, everybody's different, so why am I trying to meet these expectations that people from church and school and beyond have given me? I mean, I'm seeing these guys at work. I mean, just like them, I am not perfect, and seeing what they're going through, hearing their stories and stuff. You know what? Not everybody can, have that freaking happy-go-lucky kid normie story, of go freaking taking an avid class, taking the right electives, going to school, and going to college for 4 years, and then going out of college with a degree and with the ability to go get a job. Nope. Because life is real, and definitely this and the wreck that I got into. Oh shoot, I actually have a lot more time to speak about that now. The wreck that changed my life. So let's branch off for a little bit here. So the wreck. So I was hanging out with a friend, and then I had to go pick someone up to go to this little church event. So I dropped my friend off, and I headed my way, to this other guy's house, and I was being stupid while driving, and boo, I got into a wreck. So here I am, being careless and reckless, not really taking account of the reality of things. I just tried to go things, my own way, and I ended up flipping over my car. But flipping over my car, because get the context. It was like, it was only like not even a full month of me, graduating. So around this time, I still had this whole idea of me, going to college for 4 years and all that stuff. I just managed to get myself hired, which was already a freaking episode within itself, and I thought, I'm going to be this picture perfect church kid and school kid that, that everybody wants me to be. Yeah, but then that wreck happened, and then, you see, it didn't turn my life upside down, but it turned my whole thinking process about it upside down, as well as the car, because the car also flipped upside down. Otherwise, I would still be driving it today. But shoot, so I'm over here, like shocked, just shocked how of the reality that literally hit me, and I realized that the world is it's a very scary place, and the way I see it, it's kind of like real life, adult life, literally giving me a rude awakening, it literally introducing me into this real world, because right before that wreck, I was pretty much still that same kid from high school, except graduated. But then that wreck happened, and I started becoming more. I say, at that moment, that's when I truly started growing up, because I realized things are real, and and there are actual consequences to my actions. Everything's not happy-go-lucky. Things are not gonna turn out the way I think. Shoot, and the whole thing, I was traumatized for a couple of days. But you know what, though? I decided, the world around me is changing. I gotta change with it. Although it took me it was quite a process to get to where I am today, and it was also it was also a painful one. Let's see, but here I am, still alive, better than ever before. So let's rewind back to the original branch that we were at before we branched off into the wreck. So where the hell was I? I am not too sure, because I kind of lost my train of thought. Let's see. So let's see. So I was saying, so I was answering questions. Why this? Why that? So another question I asked myself was, why do I believe in God? Because again, at this time, I was just really super depressed, and I just felt like the only person that I had was God. And you see, and as this situation was going on, I started questioning myself. Why do I believe in God? And I started really looking back, and I also looked into the present too. And I even started thinking about the future. And I thought, you know what? I've seen too much, and I know too much. And I've experienced way too damn much that, just based off personal experience alone, if I didn't have a good enough reason to believe, back then, I surely did at that time, and definitely now. I have way too much freaking experience, with God in my life to deny Him. I've seen miracles, right before my eyes. I've witnessed things. I've experienced things for myself. I've had faith and seen it go through. And again, not everything's perfect. Sometimes things don't fall through. Sometimes, sometimes God doesn't listen sometimes. At least that's the way it seems. But then freaking a couple situations later, and then he decides in his own timing, hey, he answers that situation, and then looking back on that situation, everything works out. Shoot, and I really started thinking, everything that I've learned, everything that I've seen, everything that I did, everything in my experience, That's why I believe in God. I mean, it wasn't immediate. It took some time. But I finally had a good reason and a good answer. Because of my experience in my life with God, I cannot deny Him. I cannot deny it. Took some faith, took some pain, took some love, took some good times, took some bad times. But you know what? I had that's my legit reason. Because through my experience, through my roller coaster ride of life, I saw the light. And that's the point of it all. And I really, and when it comes to all these questions that I was asking myself, like all these questions of reality, of like what it came down to was my experience. And especially what I was experiencing at the time, with all this pain in my heart, with all this pain in my mind, and I couldn't just let it go. So I started asking myself questions, to kind of get my mind off and on things. Why do I do this? Why am I like this? Why are things like this? It all goes down to experience. And so from there on, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna, not only am I gonna better myself, but I'm gonna think about the experience. Because I hear this all the time, and you probably heard this all the time too. Life is not the journey. Life is the journey. It ain't no destination. Shoot. Sure. Things when it comes to life, when it comes to pretty much anything, it's not how you start it, it's how you finish it. But at the same time, actually a lot of times, it ain't even about that. It's more so about how you actually run the race. Because sure, it ain't how you start the race, it's how you finish the race. But as well, it's how do you run the race? Like what do you do between the start and finish? Because shoot, because everybody sees you at the start, everybody sees you at the finish, but nobody ever sees you what you do in between. Let's say start making music and become rich and famous, and they make like a little documentary biography or whatever about you. Everybody sees you, before you're famous, when you were just playing your guitar for your own self in your bedroom, and then people see you where you're at now, playing at concerts, playing for a band, making all this music, producing all this stuff, but nobody ever sees what goes on in between, all the work that's put in, all the love, all the pain, all the work, all the shame, all the good times and the bad times, and everything in between, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. Nobody ever sees all that but you. So shoot, maybe so it's not about how you start, but it's how you finish. But more than that, it's about how you run the race. It's about what you do in between the beginning and the end. Shoot, and also too, and what you do, in between, in the between, determines on how you finish. So really, it's almost like they go hand in hand. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. But how do you influence? But then the way you influence what you do or how you finish depends on what you do in the in-between. The in-between is so important, and that's what you got. And that's and I thought to myself, that's what I got to look into. So sure, things ain't going so Gucci right now. Things ain't going so well, so fine. You know what? I'm gonna finish this race, and let's see. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. You know what? But this is the in between that I need to embrace. I need to go and grind in, and that's exactly what I did. So I started coming into work with a new mindset. I started accepting things around me. So I said, you know what? Maybe you know what? I'm not going to be the picture perfect Christian that freaking everybody at church expects me to. I'm not going to be the picture perfect student that everybody in school expect me to be. Hell, I'm not even going to be the picture perfect kid that my parents expected me to be. But you know what? I am going to be the me that I expect myself to be, and I'm going to be the best me that I can present to God. Shoot. So I stopped worrying about all these other people, that they're not even running my race. I'm the person that's running my race. So I need if anything, the only person I really need to worry about is me. Now also too, God's helping me in the race, but because I'm actually using my legs. He's giving me the push and motivation. He's giving me the ability to run, but I'm still the running. So I need to keep my faith. So I need to keep the faith. I need to keep my mindset on God. But then also too, I need to work on myself so I can keep on running, so I can keep on going. In that sense, actually no, not just in that sense. Straight up, it's a relationship. It's a relationship with God. It's a partnership. Because he's not just running beside me. We're running together. As one, basically, as freaking one. And you know what? And you know what? And this is what I believe. I think this is how it's supposed to be. I think that is how it's supposed to be. Being in a relationship with God. He's not just he's not just your coach, and you're just doing your thing. But you know what? You're doing that thing together. Because you're running the freaking track, but he's giving you the ability to run, and he's also your push. But he's also your reason for being. So you're doing this together. Kind of like in an ideal marriage. It's not just the husband doing one thing and the wife doing the other thing. They're not just living life separately. They're living life together. And when I see my life with God, I'm not doing mine separately from him, and he's not just doing things separately from me. We're doing this together. And the same could be with you too. Like if you choose to have a relationship with God, he can do the same for you too. Because by that point, you establish a relationship. You guys are not doing stuff separately. You guys are doing stuff together. And that's what's real. And actually, that's what makes life real. From the good times to the bad times. From the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, everything in between, man. That is how it goes. You guys do it together. Because together is how you'll get the in-between done, and together is how you'll finish. Now, whether you finish on a good note or a bad note, it just depends on how you go. But the only important thing is that you actually go. That you actually give a damn about what you're doing. That you actually go and run your race. Go out there, run your race. Don't give a flying flip about what other people are thinking about you. If anything, the only person you should be giving a damn about is God Almighty. If everybody else, if they ain't running your race, don't even bat an eye to them. Don't give them the time of day, because you know what? In the end, it's you that's running your race, and it's you that you should be better. It's you who you should be bettering. It's you who it's by you and your standards that you should be reaching for. Okay, because you know what? Hey, not everyone's gonna like me. I'm not gonna reach everybody's expectations, but you know what? I'm gonna be the best goddamn me that I can be. And you can't stop me. You can try to stop me, but you know what? I'm like that Ghetto Boys album. I can't be stopped. You can try, but I'm gonna try harder. Yeah, so here I am right now. I have a better outlook on life. Sure, not everything is perfect. I still got my problems. Hell, I even get a taste of sadness still every now and then. But you know what though? God has given me the balls and the ability to face everything, to be strong in what I do. And you know what? And I take that to heart. Hell, I try. Let's see. Like these days, I try to be the best me I could possibly be, and I also have a motivation. To be a kind of like a leader at work. Not so much in the leader, and not so much as like an authority figure, but more so as like an inspiration, a beacon of hope. Like someone that that my fellow coworkers can look up to. And that's like my current motivation there. And you know what? And it's not just at work. It's everywhere I go. Hell, I may not be... yeah, sure, you may not like me because I'm not who you expect me to be. But you know what, though? I'm still going to be an inspiration. I'm still going to try to set an example. Shoot, because I know by my best efforts, I can be an example to pretty much anyone. Shoot, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's glorious. Hell, sometimes it's both. But you know what? Man? That's the way life rolls. Alright, so here we go. Last 5 minutes of the podcast. This actually may be like slightly shorter than my usual podcast, because my usual podcasts are like 50, literally at the 59-minute mark. So I mean, I've kind of just run out of things to say. Let's see. So I'm just gonna make up some bull crap before I go. I don't know, to kind of make up for the last 4.5 minutes here. Let's see. Well, that was the end of my that's the end of my little preaching there. So to summarize, I was approached with the question, why do you believe? And you know what? It took some time for me to actually be able to answer that. But let's see, when the time came, I was able to answer. And again, the reason why I'm able to answer any philosophical question, it just comes down to experience. It's from the stuff I did, the stuff I've done, how I can relate to things. It all goes down to experience. And in my experience, I know I'm not alone. In my experience, I know that freaking outside parties cannot affect what I'm the way I'm running my life. Because it's me and God. We're the only ones that who can actually affect my life. Not anyone else. They can try, especially if they try butting themselves into my life. But you know what? In the end, I'm the one running my race, and they ain't, and they can't affect me. And they can't affect how I'm running my race, because they ain't running it. It's freaking me, and you can't let them either. Don't let them with the negative vibes and the negative thoughts, affect how you're running. Just disregard them and keep going, man. Shoot, there are bigger and worse problems out there, but you know what though? You just gotta worry about what's going on with you. Don't let the thoughts of others freaking cloud your judgment, or don't let the thoughts of others, freaking limit you. Cause you know what I say to myself every day? Limits? Never heard of them. Shoot. So here we go. The last 3 minutes. Let's see. Well, now I'm really out of stuff to talk about, because I just said my freaking my little summary there. So, what is this? Episode 22. So I've called Uncle Larry. And Uncle Larry will be on the show this freaking Friday. So I'm so excited. I personally, I thought my whole, interview with Pumbaa, I thought that went pretty damn good. So, you know what? So I'm so excited to have Uncle Larry on the show, and even ask him, what went on with Pumbaa, because I'm still convinced that he's a good guy. So, but I'll know. Let's see what happens in this interview. So he's coming this Friday, so stay tuned, and as well as this Friday will be the season finale, of my first season of my podcast. So this Saturday, start season 2. Like, I mean, that's not anything too major. I mean, it's not like I'm changing things up all that much. It's just I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm just really excited for for the things to come, man. Shoot. And and that's what I like too. I'm not all sad and depressed and dark, but at the same time, I'm not all freaking overly happy and just dumb, with joy. So, I'm at a good balance. So, anyways, thank you for making it this far in my podcast. Thank you for listening to to what I had to say. If you like it, good for you. If you want to, spread it out to people. I don't really care if this gets famous or not. I just care that I put my thoughts out there. So you know what? Keep running your race. You're the only one running it. This is your boy Asiago on 3 a.m. Thoughts. Signing off. Good night. Have a good one. Let's go.